friends, welcome back to my channel. It is Megan and today is Monday, so I'm starting my weekly vlog for the week of the Disney Readathon, and that is why I'm wearing my very cool goofy Donald and Mickey shirt, and this whole week will actually be Disney themed. So every video I post this week will be Disney themed, and I'm so excited. It's just gonna be a whole Disney week and I can't wait to start these videos because I'm very passionate about Disney, if you can't tell by my joy talking about this. So just kind of to update you, I am on page 48 of Descendant of the Crane, 108 of Stardust by Neil Gaiman, and 580 of the Harry Potter Goblet of Fire audiobook. But my goals for this week are to finish Stardust and also to start my Disney Readathon books. So those are these three, plus I need to go pick up Rapunzel from the library. But I'm hoping to pick up A Court of Mist and Fury this week. Finish Children of Blood and Bone. I was on page 300. I'm debating whether to restart or just go from where I was. I might pick up where I was and then see how it goes from there. And to make up for the kind of halfway reading I'm doing of this prompt, got some book mail, and I got about halfway into this book as well. It is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I accidentally ordered the wrong one. I have Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising now in the new cover, and I thought that this one was going to be in the new cover, but it's actually the old cover, which I wouldn't mind if it wasn't a old library book, so I'll keep this for now, but I do need to pick up the correct cover because I'm really weird and I need them all the same. But I will be finishing this book as well to make up for the halfway prompt if I read halfway through this one. That way it's kind of like a full book, if that makes sense. And I will also be picking up volume 3 of Dragon Ball manga. But those are my goals for this week. I can't wait to check in with you guys tomorrow to see where I'm at in those readings. And yeah, that's really it. I went on a huge not huge, but like a pretty good, decent sized shopping spree over the weekend for books, kind of as a congratulatory shopping spree of books for getting the full-time job. So I got 6 or 7 books, I think, and super excited to show them to you, but I'm gonna do that in a separate like book haul towards the end of the month. But yeah, that is all for now. Thank you so much, and I will check in with you tomorrow. Hi friends, it is now Tuesday. I just finished filming my bookshelf tour, so you'll see that posted probably before this comes up. But now I have a new background that looks so nice, and I just love it so much. I hope you guys enjoy the bookshelf tour, but for my update, I really don't have that much. It is truly just, I've read a little bit of Stardust. I'm on page 138 now, so I haven't made much progress on this, about 30 pages I think, but I need to start reading more for my Disney Readathon because that's what this whole week is about. So I've got my TBR basket up here now, so I'll work on it through that. I'm picking up A Court of Mist and Fury and Dragon Ball Volume 3, Children of Blood and Bone, which is down here right now, and Rapunzel, which I need to go pick up at the library later. But that's all I have for today, so I will check in with you tomorrow. Hi friends, it is now Thursday, so I thought I'd update you for what I've done so far in the Disney Readathon. So far, I have made a lot of progress in A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm on page 307. I love this book so much. I love it more than A Court of Thorns and Roses already, and I already love that one. Wow, this is incredible. I totally understand why people ship who they ship now in this series, and oh my goodness, the mental depletion and post-trauma symptoms and how to deal with it and abuse in a relationship and everything. It's just so well represented in this book. I love this book so much, and I want to own these books so badly. I have A Court of Wings and Ruin, but I need to get A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. The only problem is I can only find them in paperback, and I really want them in hardback to match the Court of Wings and Ruin. So that's my struggle right now, is finding a hardback version of A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. I know they're on Amazon, but I always try to get stuff at bookstores, but if worse comes to worse, I'm gonna end up ordering it off Amazon because I really want these books. Other than that book, I haven't made any progress in my other three. I did finish Rapunzel as an ebook. It was the only place I could find it online. I downloaded the ebook from my library, and it was very, very short, much shorter than I was expecting. It was still entertaining and lighthearted and a good little story, but it was a lot shorter than I was expecting. I think it took me all of 10 minutes to read it, if that even. So I can check that one off the list. I just have to watch the Tangled movie to actually check the whole prompt off the list for the Disney Readathon, which should be easy because Tangled is one of my favorite Disney movies, so I will happily watch that. But I am off the rest of the night, so I do think I'll be making some good headway into these other three books, as well as trying to work on A Court of Mist and Fury more. But other than the Disney Readathon, I did finish Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. It was not what I was expecting, but it was still exactly what I wanted. I don't know how that works, but it makes sense in my head. It tells the story of Tristan Thorne, who is in love with a girl named Victoria Forrester from his city, and together they watch a star fall, and she says that she will marry him if he goes and collects the fallen star for her. So he travels to the world of fairy and seeks out the star for her. The star ends up being something different than he expected, and the story just goes from there, and it was a really cute little story. It ended exactly how I wanted it to end, and yeah, it took so many interesting turns that I wasn't expecting, and I just really, really loved it. So 4.5 stars. I also worked on a manga called Dengeki Daisy. It tells the story of Tiru, who lost her brother, but her brother left his cell phone behind, and through it she contacts a secret person known as the alias Daisy, who helps her through her grief. And in the manga, you meet this guy right here named Tsuku, who kind of torments and saves Tiru all the time, and she starts to wonder who Daisy is, and it's her story and figuring all of that out. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I can't tell if it's the story itself or just the English translation. It's just a little hard to follow, but I'm gonna keep pushing through because I remembered the Dragon Ball series being a little hard to start at first, and then I started to get into it. So I'm gonna give this a little bit more of a shot before I kind of turn it down. So yeah, it is a cute little story. I hope it deals more with grief in the future and like how she deals with grief, because I think that would be a nice little touch. And speaking of this, I got it at the library. I also picked up some other books at the library I thought I'd share with you. I picked up The Vanishing Stair, which is the sequel to Truly Devious. Again, I don't believe I will be going out of my way to purchase Truly Devious, but it was good enough that I want to read the sequel. I also picked up the 3-in-1 Dragon Ball volumes 4, 5, and 6. I haven't finished 3 yet, but I wanted to have this on hand so I could start this once I finished 3. I also picked up The Hobbit by Tolkien, and I'm super excited to read this. I know that it's going to be a little more difficult of a read than a young adult book, but I'm looking forward to seeing how I feel about The Lord of the Rings, because I've never really gotten into the whole world of The Lord of the Rings. I've never watched the movies, I've never read the books, so I'm just interested to see how I feel about it. I also have Caraval, but fun fact, I actually went to a store yesterday and got my own Caraval, so I will be turning this one in and reading this one instead. I'm super excited. Look how pretty. I'm pretty sure I pronounce it wrong or different every single time I say the title of this book, but we're gonna call it Caraval from now on. If I'm wrong, please correct me because I don't want to keep continuing to say it wrong. I've looked up other YouTubers saying it, and everyone says it differently, so I don't really know how it's pronounced. Because I've heard Caraval, I've heard Caravel, which sounds weird, so I'm gonna go with the Caraval version. Yeah, there's all different kind of pronunciations of this book, so I think I'll just stick with Caraval. If I'm wrong, I guess I'll fix it when I know I'm wrong. I also put a hold on the first volume of Fruits Basket, but they sent me the volume 3, so I need to, when I go to return Caraval, I will check out what happened there and see if I can get volume 1. And lastly, from the library, I did pick up House Moving Castle DVD. Super excited to watch this, especially after what I opened in the Owl Crate. So yeah, I can't wait to watch this. I also picked up the book, but it hasn't gotten in from the other library yet, because when I put the hold on, it had to transit from one library to another. So yeah, that's all for today though, unless I get a chance to check in with you later. I doubt I will, just because it takes so long to set up my little area here, as you will see when I post my bookshelf tour, which should be up before this, but I don't have a lot of convenience when it comes to filming. I actually set up a little area on my bed, so I don't really have a lot of motivation to set it all up again after I tear it all down, and sometimes I just want to lay in bed and read, and I can't really do that when the whole filming area is set up on my bed. But other than that, I will check in with you tomorrow. Hi friends, it is now Friday, and just to update you, I have not done a lot in the other books, but I did make a lot more progress in A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm now on page 556, so I have about 50 pages left, I believe. So this will definitely be finished tonight. I'm about halfway through Children of Blood and Bone still. Haven't made any progress on it, but I do plan to finish this by tomorrow, as well as the other books for my Disney Readathon. Technically, I really only need to finish one for The Incredibles prompt, but because I was halfway through this when I started it as the prompt, I'm using another one that I was halfway through as well, which is Shadow and Bone, so I'm hoping to finish this as well and use the halves of each of these as the prompts for the Disney Readathon. And then on top of those, I just have to read volume 3 of Dragon Ball, and I think all of that will be easily accomplished by tomorrow night, so I'm not worried about that as long as I read consistently tonight and tomorrow morning. And then I do believe I'll be able to finish volume 1 of Dengeki Daisy. But I will just update you on my progress on Sunday and just do my weekly wrap-up then. That way I can just wrap up all of the Disney Readathon in one. Hi friends, it is now Monday. I didn't get a chance to update over the weekend, so I'm just gonna do my wrap-up now. So for this week, I did finish Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was a wonderful little story. It didn't go how I thought it would go, but it was much better than what I thought. So it wasn't what I expected, but it is what I wanted, if that makes sense. I then finished volume 3 of Dragon Ball. I ended up giving this 4 stars. It's making me get really into the series, so I'm super excited about that. I also read the Rapunzel short story by the Brothers Grimm. I gave it 3 stars. It was a cute little lighthearted story, super short, much shorter than I thought it would be, but of course it wasn't one of my favorites and I didn't love it, so it's just a 3 stars. I enjoyed it. It was cute for what it was, but it's not clearly one of my favorites. However, I think this very easily made one of my favorites list. This is A Court of Mist and Fury, the second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and this was incredible. I was enraptured from the start, and I really don't have words to express how much I loved this, so I'll just leave it at that. 5 out of 5 stars. So for the Disney Readathon, I did complete The Beast, which was A Court of Mist and Fury, a book you had to read over 500 pages. This was like 600 something, so I easily finished that prompt. I also finished the Rapunzel prompt. I read Rapunzel and then watched Tangled. I finished the Meet the Robinsons prompt, which was a book in the future. I wasn't able to finish the Incredibles or the Flower prompt because I was reading Children of Blood and Bone. I was going to read from page 300 on because that's where I was when I started the book. However, when I tried to get into it, I just could not figure out what was going on. I couldn't remember. It had been so long since I picked it up that I just needed to restart. So now I'm on page 125 again, and it's really interesting because I'm picking up on so many more things in this book because I read to page 300 before, so I knew some of the things that happened, but now it's just incredible how many things I'm picking up after rereading up to the page 300. I definitely think this will be a 5 out of 5 star read. I also made it to page 702 of the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire audiobook. I have very, very little left, so I should be able to finish this within 1 or 2 days, so it'll be super easy to finish. And lastly, I did pick up some of Dengeki Daisy. I'm now on page 97, so this should be also super easy to read. It's just a manga. I'm almost halfway through, so I just kind of read this for a lighter read. So I wasn't able to finish all the prompts for the Disney Readathon, but I did get quite a bit of reading done this week. It's been a hard month for me to find the motivation to read. I think I piled it on way too much last month, so I'm struggling to find the motivation to read. But I am posting a lot of videos, so that's also taking some of my time. But yeah, that was my week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy this Disney week that you are about to experience. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!